Ranger Eli Greaves had seen strange things in Oregon's Tillamook Forest, but nothing quite like Mosswood Hollow. The cabin assigned to him was old, barely standing and blanketed in thick, green moss. It clung to the walls, the windows, even crept up the posts of his bed. Locals called it Devil's Velvet. To Eli, it just felt wrong. The first few nights passed quietly. Too quietly. No birds, no animals, just the wind and the moss. Then came the whispers, with a faint muffled voice, like someone murmuring from beneath the cabin floorboards. He lay frozen in bed, listening. Eli. Eli. The voice knew his name. He dismissed it. Static from the radio. Wind in the trees, but the next night, then came the voice again, like a whisper. Let us in. The moss was thicker now, faster. When he peeled it off the walls, black sap oozed out. The wood beneath pulsed, soft, like flesh. Then came the footprints. Human, bare, pressed into the moss, leading from the forest to the door, but no one ever knocked. That night, the whispering turned into chanting, wet, gurgling voices rising from all sides. Eli burst from the cabin, flashlight trembling in his hand. And there they were. Figures, dozens of them, standing in the fog, their bodies wrapped in moss, their skin peeling. Some had no lips, others, no eyes. And they were staring at him. One opened its mouth, and Eli heard his own voice come out, saying, You were warned. Sudden pacing, running. He ran, through the trees, through the dark, through the whispering that followed him, louder, faster. Somehow, he made it back to the cabin, but this time, it looked different, clean, fresh, and touched. No moss, no rot, as if nothing had happened at all. On the desk lay the ranger's logbook. Eli flipped it open, and froze. The last entry, October 12, 1983, his own name at the top. And below it, just one line, deceased, recovered beneath the floor. Cause of death, suffocation, body covered in moss. Then the door creaked. He turned, and saw himself, moss dripping from his jaw. Eyes black, skin gray and bloated, the mirror image of death. Final whisper, the voice whisper returned, You let us in. And then Eli remembered. He never escaped the forest, because he had never been alive, to begin with.
They said the silence came first, long before anyone went missing, before the trees began leaning inward like they were listening. The sound just drained from the place. No wind, no birdsong, no insects humming in the grass, just a dead, pressing quiet that wrapped around your throat like invisible hands. Anna didn't believe in that kind of thing. She was a practical woman, a science teacher. When her older brother Lucas asked her to help clean up their late uncle's cabin in the Smoky Mountains, she rolled her eyes at the ghost stories. They arrived at noon. The forest was unusually still. No birds, no bugs, no breeze, just the crunch of gravel under their tires, and the sound of the cabin door swinging open with a dry, hollow moan inside. It was dust-heavy and dim, furniture still covered with white sheets. They spent the day boxing old books and hauling out moldy furniture. By sunset, the cabin had started to feel a little more alive. But then the silence returned. It wasn't just quiet, it was wrong, like sound itself was being sucked into the walls. When Anna spoke, her own voice sounded muffled. Lucas tried to play music on his phone, but it only buzzed with static. The screen kept flickering. That night, Anna woke with a start. She wasn't sure what had roused her, only that something felt off. The silence was pressing against her ears. She sat up, blinking at the dark. Then she saw Lucas, standing in the corner of the room, facing the wall, completely still. Lucas, she whispered. No answer. She got up, stepped closer, touched his shoulder. His skin was cold. He didn't react. Then he whispered something. Don't speak. His voice trembled. His eyes were wide. Anna replied, What are you talking about? He spun around and put his hand over her mouth. His eyes were full of panic. He whispered again, almost sobbing, They hear through sound. They come when you speak. Anna froze. Then she heard it, footsteps above them. In the attic. No one had gone up there. The door had been locked. Lucas whispered again, shaking now. They live in the silence. They feed on voices. That's how Uncle died. The attic steps creaked. Then a low groan came from the ceiling, wood-warping. Nails whining like something enormous was pressing down. Anna tried to move, but Lucas held her tighter. "Don't breathe loud," he said. Then the lights flickered and went out. In the pitch black, something opened. The attic door. Anna felt it. Cold air spilled into the hallway. The silence changed, no longer still, but waiting. She shut her eyes. And then, a sound. Lucas had gasped. Just once, something slammed from the ceiling. Anna opened her eyes just in time to see him vanish upward. No scream, no struggle, just silence. She never saw what took him, never heard it move, only felt the stillness. Now she's alone in the cabin. She hasn't made a sound in 3 days, not even a whisper, but the silence is still growing, spreading through her like rot, and she never made it out the cabin. You're not supposed to go near the red pines. That's what the locals say. Back in the 1960s, a classified experiment was conducted deep in the forest, something involving radiation, neurological tests, and human endurance. The project was abruptly shut down after the facility went dark. No rescue, no survivors, just silence. Since then, the forest has grown wild, twisted, raw and still. Some people can't leave the past alone. Like Theo and his friends, urban explorers with a thirst for danger. They snuck past the rusted warning signs and barbed wire one cold October evening, chasing ghost stories and government secrets. At the center of the woods, they found it, a rotting cabin draped in vines and fog. Its door cracked like an open mouth. Inside, dust coated every surface. Mold crept along the walls like fangs. But the strangest thing, it wasn't empty. On the table lay a leather-bound journal. Pages yellowed and worn. Theo opened it. The first entry read, Day 2, Subject 3 shows regenerative properties beyond comprehension. No heartbeat, still moving. The entries became increasingly frantic, full of diagrams, radiation levels, and crude sketches of something humanoid, but wrong. Limbs too long, eyes sunken, flesh bubbling with sores. Then the final entry. They don't die, they multiply, and they echo. Thump, a sound. Outside, Theo looked up. The others were frozen. Another thump. From the left window, a figure stood just beyond the tree line, motionless, watching. Theo moved closer to the glass, and then the face slammed against the window. Gray skin, black eyes, lips torn back into a permanent grin. They ran, crashing into the woods. Branches clawed at them like hands. The forest suddenly felt alive. Every shadow a threat, every echo a whisper of death. One by one, they vanished. Screams, then silence. Only Theo made it back to the cabin, bolting the door shut behind him. His flashlight flickered, then died. Then the whispers began. Theo, join us. They echoed. He scrambled for the journal, flipping it back to the last page. But something was different now. A new line had appeared beneath the final entry, written in Freshing. Don't look behind you. Theo turned. A mirror stood in the corner, one that hadn't been there before. And in the reflection, he saw himself smiling. Not a normal smile, a torn, fleshless grin, with black eyes and rotting skin. The reflection moved its hand and waved, but Theo hadn't moved. Then it stepped out of the mirror, and he realized that wasn't a reflection. That was the real Theo, and he had never made it out of the forest at all.